Ladies and gentlemen, gather close because Zimbabwe has served another full plate of chaos, confusion, miracles, scandals, and world stage drama, all before lunchtime. And as always, Zimwaves TV is here to help you digest this cholesterol-rich national storyline with the sarcasm required for survival. We begin with the morning's headline that feels less like news and more like a rejected plot from an action movie. Today, Tendai Biti, the leader of the Constitution Defenders Forum, nearly became the unwilling star of Assassination Attempt Harare edition after a Land Cruiser with the suspicious number plate of AFR 8963 swerved aggressively into his lane on Enterprise Road. To avoid a fatal collision, Biti had to dive into a ditch, not metaphorically, literally. But because life must go on in Zimbabwe, he calmly looked death in the rearview mirror, reversed back onto the road, and recorded the culprit with the focus of a man who knows this is only episode 4 of a much longer season. And in case anyone is still debating whether this was an accident or an attempted assassination, let's put it in context. Over the weekend, Riot police camped outside Biti Law Chambers in Milton Park, claiming the Constitution Defenders Forum was holding a dangerous meeting. Dangerous, apparently, because the topic is the Constitution. However, Biti was not even in Harare. He was in Chiredzi. Imagine deploying state resources to fight an imaginary meeting. Even Biti called it what it is: psychotic paranoia. Zimbabweans saw Riot police guarding an empty building like it was the Victoria Falls on New Year's Eve. And now, magically, a suspicious car tries to ram Biti off the road. You don't even need political analysis. Google Maps can connect those dots. The suspicions were heightened when it turned out that the driver of the vehicle is a staunch ZANU-PF supporter who has been online attacking opposition leaders. But while the political circus rages on, Zimbabwe has also woken up to one of the most surprising plot twists of the year. Bread prices might actually fall. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, not rise, fall. And no, you are not hallucinating. The country has harvested a record-breaking 640,000 tons of wheat, the largest in our history. We have so much wheat that for the first time, Zimbabwe might start feeding its neighbors instead of begging them for grain. The government says this bumper harvest will stabilize food prices, strengthen national food security, and turn Zimbabwe into a regional wheat powerhouse. Professor Obed Jiri even declared that bread prices must go down. For once, a government promise that doesn't sound like a campaign song. Farmers delivered massive volumes. Millers are already celebrating. Global fertilizer prices have dropped, and even the dreaded statutory instrument levy doesn't apply to wheat. Bread currently sits at $1 to $1.20. But if this surplus is handled correctly, Zimbabwe could actually see price reductions before Christmas. But let's not get too excited. Zimbabwe has broken our hearts before. Someone could still wake up tomorrow and outlaw sandwiches. Yet, while the wheat sector is thriving, the justice system is having none of the games. The long-running US $7 million GOT scheme fraud involving businessmen Moses Mpofu and Mpofu Chimombe has finally reached the sentencing stage. After a year and a half of legal somersaults, postponements, delays, appeals, reappeals, re-reappeals, and every tactic known to the Zimbabwean justice playbook, Justice Kwenda has officially said enough. Mpofu and Chimombe tried to stall again, asking for a written copy of the judgment that was already delivered in an open court. The judge shut that down immediately. They asked to appeal to the Supreme Court. That was also denied. The court is now moving forward with pre-sentencing proceedings. It's been years of ghost companies and grand corruption, But at least this chapter is heading toward a conclusion. Whether justice will prevail or the usual technicalities will sneak in, we wait. And speaking of justice, Zimbabwe has just witnessed a historic High Court ruling. The court has tracked down key parts of the Termination of Pregnancy Act, declaring the law unconstitutional where it discriminates against mentally ill women and sexual abuse victims in mental institutions. Justice Chirau Mugomba ruled that the Act's failure to include mental health as grounds for legal abortion violates constitutional rights, including dignity, equality, health, and life. The court also found the definition of unlawful intercourse unconstitutional because it excludes sexual abuse defined under the Mental Health Act. This is not just a legal victory. It's a deep shift in Zimbabwe's human rights landscape. Parliament must now realign outdated laws with modern constitutional standards. The ruling still needs confirmation from the Constitutional Court, but the direction is clear. Justice is catching up with neglected realities. But in the midst of these developments, tragedy struck on the roads. A Munenzva bus overturned near Rutenga on its way to South Africa, killing 4 people, including a relief driver, and injuring 13 others. Rumors immediately spread that driver fatigue caused the crash, with social media claiming the driver had just arrived from Cape Town and was forced to make a U-turn. But Munenzva bus's director insists the driver rested the entire day and the bus was fully serviced before departure. As investigations continue, we must face the uncomfortable truth. Zimbabwe's long-distance routes are death traps during peak travel seasons. Drivers face pressure, companies face competition, passengers face danger, and every festive season, the story repeats. Meanwhile, the economy has delivered a rare positive headline. Delta Corporation has confirmed that the stable Zimbabwe gold currency is boosting sales volumes across its product lines. Yes, the same currency Zimbabweans doubted at birth is suddenly helping push beer, beverages, and profits to record levels. With foreign currency trading stabilizing at around 27 ZiG to $1, consumer spending is strengthened. Tobacco farmers have cashed out. Mining is booming and diaspora remittances are flowing. In the half year ending September, Delta made $514 million in revenue, a 32% jump with profits up 83%. That's right. Beer and soft drinks are winning even when politics is losing. Beyond our borders, Zambia's national football team faces drama of its own. New coach Moses Sichone was expected to take charge of the team, but instead he was rushed to hospital with food poisoning along with the midfielder Miguel Chaiwa and video analyst Elias Chipota. The illness struck so severely that Sichone missed his debut match against South Africa and could not travel to Angola for the next friendly. The Football Association of Zambia says more players were affected, though they have since recovered. With AFCON around the corner, Zambia's preparations are looking rocky. On the global stage, the United Nations Security Council has approved President Donald Trump's Gaza Stabilization Force plan. Yes, the United Nations actually passed something big, and it wasn't a condolence message. The resolution authorizes an international force to secure Gaza, create a transitional authority overseen by Trump, and outline a possible path to a Palestinian state. The vote passed 13-0, with Russia and China abstaining. Arab states supported the resolution. Hamas rejected it. Israel praised it, and the world held its breath. Once again, the Middle East is rewriting history and Zimbabwe is watching from the sidelines, still waiting for Zupco to run on time. Back home in sports, the Warriors finally did the unthinkable. They won a match. Zimbabwe beat Qatar 2-1 in an international friendly, breaking a long embarrassing winless streak. Under new coach Marian Marinika, the Warriors showed fight, teamwork, and actual goals. Something Zimbabwean fans had come to view as mythical creatures. Munashe Garanganga equalized after Qatar's early goal and Bill Antonio sealed the win in the 74th minute. With AFCON coming, maybe, just maybe, the Warriors are waking up. And across the ocean in England, Manchester United's Benjamin Sesko has been ruled out for a month with a knee injury. The €74 million striker, already under pressure to deliver, will now miss key matches, including the period leading up to AFCON. United fans are concerned, the club is scrambling, and the Premier League rivals are smiling. Zimbabwe, Africa, and the global village. This has been another whirlwind of life on earth, assassination scares, legal victories, fraud cases, record harvests, corporate profits, tragic accidents, regional football drama, UN diplomacy, and the Warriors giving us the rare gift of a win. As always, the news is a raging storm, but Zimwaves is the lightning. Before you go, hit subscribe, smash that notification bell, and join the fastest growing political current affairs community in the region. Because in a world full of noise, Zimbabwe needs clarity, served hot, sharp, and unfiltered.